Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. This is our weekly KW Technology Community webinar, and happy Friday. I did not do a sound check. I'm putting my faith in the system that you can hear me, so please confirm if you do. Thank you, everybody. Great. Figure after 2 or 3 years of these, the sound's going to be okay. So here is our agenda for today. And if you saw our blog, then you kind of have a sneak peek at what we'll be talking about, but this is your chance to send in any questions. So the first thing that you might have noticed is that our mobile app got a facelift. It looks great, and we are very happy to have Devin Ryan. If you were at Family Reunion, you met him. He's our mobile app product manager, and so he is going to show off what's new about the app, and then he'll stick around for a few minutes so that you can ask any questions of him. Then I'm going to talk about some updates to the Market Center transmittal process. If you're an MCA, you would really appreciate what's changing. So this is just to make sure that your MCAs are aware of what's changed, because there are some requirements in order for transmittal to happen that they need to be aware of. Then we'll talk about Google TwoStep verification. It's available now with your KW Google App for Work accounts. And then we'll just spend a little bit of time on KWU Connect. Our support team has been receiving many of the same questions, so this is just a chance to address those. And then if there's anything else you want to address, you can send those questions in, keeping in mind it is still in beta, but it's good to know what you're experiencing thus far. And then we'll wrap up by looking at what's coming up in the way of events, specifically webinars. All right, so let's get started. As promised, we're going to talk about the KW mobile app. And again, this week, just a couple of days ago, you may have noticed some changes in the way your app looks. This is both for the Apple and Google versions, Android versions. And this new interface came about as a result of usability research and testing. We got feedback from users. And for those of you who are a part of the mobile app product advisory group, you definitely know Devin Ryan very well. Your feedback and collaboration brought about these changes. So what I would like to do is introduce Devin. Devin, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. How you doing?
Hey, Devin. All right, so Devin is going to take over the control here. Just one moment as we pass the role of presenter so he can drive through the screenshots of the new app. And I see some comments coming in for those of you who have already looked at it. You think it looks great. Clients are loving it. Okay. Are you able to drive the slides?
All it does is give me an option to show my screen, so you can go ahead and just drive.
Okay. I will do that then, just as easy. You can just tell me when to go to the next slide.
That
Okay.
works.
All right.
All right.
So everybody should be seeing the home page. Here we go.
So just going to reiterate what Brenda said. We've been doing some new things at KWRI, and that includes some consumer research. And through usability testing and various other methods and forms of research, we've been learning a lot about what the consumers think about our app, and what the agents also think about our app. And we've taken that research and we implemented the first big user interface refresh. I thought that would be the best starting place. So one of the first things you see is the home page, and if you look, immediately you're going to see larger photos, and then also new icons. So on the menu, those icons specifically are going to be icons that we know the clients or the consumers use more often. So we put those on the front, on the home page of the app, instead of the old method, which was pretty much giving everybody all the icons at once, which is a little bit overwhelming. The other change on the home page is at the very top. The search bar, it pops now, it stands out. And then with all those other icons that people didn't use as much, we put those in a secondary menu, and that's going to be called the flyout menu. That's going to be on the next slide. So in the flyout menu, think of it as a secondary menu, and this is where we put all the secondary icons that consumers don't use as much. And then the next slide.
Okay, search.
Search. Okay, so again, one of the biggest things that we heard through our research was larger photos. So whenever somebody's searching for a home, as you can see, we added larger photos here. And we also have some new icons. So for instance, whenever somebody favorites a particular property that they see, you can see the little star on the bottom right. And then on the very bottom of this view, we also have some new icons as well. And then so here's the map. Map is definitely one of the widely used functions of the app. One of the main changes we did was we pretty much just the icons on the bottom were the main changes, and then the icons at the very top. Save searches. So it looks a little bit different. It's easier on the eye. Again, just going to have some new icons and more consistent colors. Save properties. Again here, some new icons, larger photos, and something I'd like to point out is even on the photos that have the darker, the night version basically, we put a little gradient at the top so that the property details still pop. And so now we're going to open it up to some questions, and I'll let Brenda handle the questions, and I'll answer to the best of my ability.
Okay, thanks, Devin. So one question has come in. Actually, two questions came in, and I know one of them is a support issue that is already in the works of being resolved. On iPhones, there's been some reports of trouble trying to call the agent, so that is something that's already being worked on. And then another support issue is that problems with the geocoding on some properties aren't showing up on the app. So Devin, do you have any insight into an issue around that?
Okay, so for the first issue, and actually I just want to take this opportunity to basically say, like when it comes to software, let's just put it this way. If anyone here has ever done a home makeover, right? You're going to remodel your entire living room. Well, you're going to take a little step back, right? You're going to start taking things off the wall. You got to take a step back in order to take a huge leap forward, and that's kind of the way software is. And so after this launch, there's going to be some things that that it's just technology is just weird. So to answer your question, the first issue I submitted an update today actually, and it's expedited to fix that first issue that you pointed out, Brenda, about the calling issue. So that should be fixed very soon. And then for the last part, the geocoding, there has been a couple tickets on that, and we're currently working on a resolution. And I just want to take this opportunity to ask everyone, if you have this particular issue, the best thing to do is to send a support ticket through the app, because whenever you do that, it actually sends us the device information, and it helps us troubleshoot the issue a lot faster, because then we can make correlations based off of, oh, these people with these certain devices are having this issue, and then we can isolate it a lot faster and give you guys a resolution.
Okay, thanks. Let's see. Is there an issue with the photo showing up correctly? It shows up when it first loads, but it doesn't show how the example is on the top left screen. Okay, we might need more explanation.
Yeah, I think I need some more context on that one.
Okay, all right. So Sydney, if you could come on back with some more details on that. Bonnie asks, is the app lead capturing? And that should not have changed, correct?
Yeah, the lead capturing is still the same. You got to go through the WolfNet back office, and you can set all your lead capturing options.
Okay.
And have that set up to email you whenever you have certain leads.
All right. questions are flying in now here. How do we now, has it changed? How do we get to change if you've got it branded to one agent and you want to change the branding to a different agent? A huge need for those of us who do training on the app. Where is that control?
That's a great question. I would say that if you have a new agent, what they can do is they can click on My Account, and whenever they click on My Account, it's going to say Agent Search on there. You click on that link, and then you can search for a new agent.
Okay, it sounds like that might not be in the same spot. So Nicole, let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry about that. So on the flyout menu, if you go to the flyout menu, that's where My Account is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see the option to do an agent search.
From the flyout menu. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the answer to this, Jeremy, is not at this time, but is there a way to eliminate contingent and pending listings? I have many clients that have issues with finding homes on the app that aren't available.
Who asked that question?
Jeremy James.
Jeremy James, I am so happy you asked that question because that was one thing I forgot to point out is that on the larger photos on the home page, the status of that particular property it's more prominent now. And there is an ongoing conversation that I've been having with several agents in the mobile product advisory group to basically make it so that you have more control over these type of listings in terms of contingencies and other types of statuses. So this is an ongoing conversation. The first step in the right direction that I knew I could make happen immediately was making it more prominent, making that listing status more prominent. So I just wanted to let you know that we are working on it.
All right. How fast does the app update MLS listings currently? And can or will that be improved?
Another great question. The MLS refresh has been increased, but it varies across all the different the MLSs. So, some could be increasing or refreshing as much as 15 minutes, some are an hour. It just really varies. But we have increased it across all MLSs, and the goal is to continue to increase that this year. I would love, I set really lofty goals. I would love to get them all down to 15 minutes. Don't hold me to it, but that is something that I'm talking about with WolfNet right now in terms of increasing the MLS refresh rates.
Okay. Sydney again is saying when you click the 3 left lines on the top, so that would take you to the menu with all the options. It's just showing a photo silhouette, not the actual photo of the agent.
Yes.
So, okay, is that by design?
So I like what she called it, the 3 lines. That's I actually learned this the other day. That's called a hamburger icon.
I did not know that either.
I just learned that, and I've been developing apps since college. So when you tap on the hamburger icon on the top left, that brings out your flyout menu. The little silhouette that you're seeing, that is something that I'm working on right now with another update. So that will be resolved here pretty soon.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. Devin, the question is there a way to do a search and then find open houses based on that search?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, so you're muted. Okay.
Yes.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, is there a way to do a search and then refine that search to just show open houses?
Let me see here. You can, you should be able to refine your search. As far as the open house, I am not 100% positive on that. I'd like to take that offline and double check before I say yes or no.
Okay. Okay, so a lot of you are submitting support type questions that would need to be troubleshot, go through troubleshooting by our support team. So if you have anything that is specific or not working, please email support@kw.com and they can investigate into your app in your MLS and try to find out what your specific issue is. So without further ado, we're going to move on to the rest of the topics for today. And I want to thank Devin for being here. And if you have any general questions yet not answered about the app, you can go ahead and type them in. And as we always do, we'll take the questions and use them as FAQs that we can add to our knowledge base. We'll answer them and add them to our knowledge base. And thank you, that troubleshooted is a correct term. Thank you, Mike. So thanks again, Devin. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. That was fun.
Good. I'm glad you had fun. Okay. So one moment here while I get myself resituated to where we were. All right. So our next topic, again, if this is an MCA type of topic, but super important because it affects transmittal, and everybody wants transmittal to go smoothly because that's what results in one of many things being profit share. So to make that process more efficient and a little bit less painful is 2 new updates. So your MCAs should have received an email this week from KWRI letting them know about this. They also have a page on MyKW, and you can see the navigation there at the top of this slide. It's mykw.kw.com, and then go to the technology menu and select MC software, Market Center software. So 2 of the new items now available is the first is the new financial statement, the new KW financial statement, which, as you know, we make everything an acronym. This is the KWFS. This replaces what MCAs were currently using, which were Excel spreadsheets. They had multiple steps and manual entries and macros to run to transmit the financials at the end of the month. Now it's a new online financial statement that's going to really speed up that process. In fact, it allows them to submit financial data throughout the month instead of just once at transmittal time. And coming soon, MCAs will be able to see their financial data in near real time through the reports. And that, as you can imagine, lets the whole Market Center leadership team have those conversations when they've got the critical information about their business right there and it's up to date. MCAs can also look at other months in the current accounting year without having to resubmit accounting data each time. So it's going to make the MCA's life much easier. So on this page, as you can see, there are 2 links. One is a user guide, and another is the recording of a webinar. Both of those items live on KWU Connect, so you could go there too and search. But this is one nice landing page that takes you to those resources. The second thing that is new is there's a new version of Account Edge, and your MCAs will need to upgrade. If they already have this software installed, they'll need to upgrade it to version 2.5. Unless you're in Quebec, there's no need to upgrade that version right now. Otherwise, in the US, the same page has a link to download the patch or the full file, as well as a PDF that walks them through this whole update. What's also important that must be done before the next transmittal is to do a complete backup. So MCAs need to update their backups before the upgrade to Account Edge. And if they use an online backup provider, please make sure that your MCA is in touch with them to make that change to the update, to the backup rather. So one important note is that the new KWFS is going to be used for the next transmittal, and a soft close needs to be done by Monday, March 28th. So getting the new version of Account Edge, doing the backup, getting Account Edge, and the new financial statement before March 28th is of importance to every market center. Unless you're in Quebec, then there is no Account Edge update. Okay, so just a PSA for your MCAs. Next is some great news, and that is that we have now, we being Keller Williams and your Google Apps for Work accounts, now have Google's two-step verification enabled. And what that is, it's the next evolution really of email security. So passwords, they were a great first step in securing your email. But as we've heard over and over again, they really don't help if you're the victim of a phishing attack. And we've seen some really clever phishing attacks that wouldn't even appear to the most savvy user that they're phishing. They look like legitimate emails from legitimate businesses. So the second step of security, which will verify any new devices that are logging into your Google account or whenever you change your password, doing that will significantly reduce your risk of being scammed by a phishing attack. So the first step is usually called a single authentication. That's how passwords began. You enter in your password. And the second step now is, again, to have Google send a verification code. It can go to some other device, usually your phone, by text. It could be a voice call or an app. And then you'll enter that verification code that you receive into the second step, and then you have gotten into your Google account. So once again, this is not something that's forced for KW associates, but it's available if they want to enable it. And we would highly, highly encourage all of our associates to take advantage of this. So we're just passing this on to you so that you can pass it on to all of your associates in your market centers. Okay, so next let's talk about KWU Connect and some of the questions that we've been getting about this new one-stop shop for all of your education resources. So the first question that we've been receiving is around logging in. How do I log in? So the way that you will log in is if you go to kwuconnect.com, you'll come to this landing page. And if you try to click on any of the content on the page, you'll be taken to a login screen. And you can also get there by clicking My Account Login in the upper right corner. The login page looks like this. So what you need to know about logging in is a couple of things. The very first time you log in to KWU Connect, you're going to pay attention to this side of the screen. You're going to need to get a KWU Connect password. The way that you get that password is by typing in either your MyKW username, which you can find in your White Pages profile, or the email address that is in your White Pages profile. So either your username or your email address in White Pages, just enter that in this field, click Request Password, and then you'll get an email at that White Pages email address that includes a password. Once you have that password, you'll come over here and you'll enter your username and the password that you got through email. And if you ever forget the email, or rather, if you ever forget the password, then as you can see, there is a forgot password link right there. So it's a self-serve page for logging in for the first time, as well as every time thereafter if you have forgotten your password. So once you're in, another big question is around events. So just a little side note here, if any of you have been given the role of admin staff in your White Pages profile. So anybody on your leadership team could assign that to you. You then have the permission to add as well as edit and events on the calendar for your market center. So that's great if you're wanting to add any technology training that you're doing. So a big question we get is, once I have an event on the calendar, how do I make changes to it, or how do I remove it? So the way that you do that is, once you're logged in, click on the little person icon next to My Account. You'll select Dashboard, and on your dashboard, you'll go to the My Events tab, and then you can see a list of all of the calendar events that you have added, and then you'll see that each one has an edit and a delete button. And I can see out of the corner of my eye questions are coming in. I will turn my attention to those momentarily. Let me just show the other items that I've got here, and then I'll come back to questions. Another question is about, how do I add content so that others can find it easily? So there's a lot of content out there. It's growing incrementally by the day, by the hour. So how do you make sure that what you've added can be found? And there's a couple of tips and tricks that we have for you. One of them is, before you upload a file, so first of all, when you click on the upload link in KWU Connect, you have the option of uploading a file or uploading a YouTube video, which in reality is just putting in a link to a YouTube video, or you can upload a link to anything, to a web page or to a file. So those are pretty self-explanatory, adding a link to a video or any other web resource. When you upload a file, one piece of advice I have for you is, before you upload your file, give it a name that makes sense to the average user. So this one, I named it exactly what the file is, because whatever you name that file when you upload it, that title, that file name is going to show as the title of that item. So I find it very helpful to rename the file first so it's easily recognizable when you see it. So you upload your file, and then you can give it a description. And then the keywords are where you can really get as specific as you need to so that anybody else can find that item. So for example, what we're looking at here is a help guide for our agents in Canada, for the market centers in Canada, setting up a Korea data distribution facility for your mobile app. So some of the keywords that would be helpful there are Canada, mobile app, Korea, DDF, listings. You can add as many keywords as you want. No one will see those keywords, but when you search on any of those keywords, they are tagged to this document, and this document will show up in the results. So one question, we got this at Family Reunion and we've heard it several times, is, well, there's no way to filter out content that belongs to associates in my market center. I want to just see items that are relevant only to my market center. That's where you could use the keywords field. You could put in your market center number and your market center name. You could put in your city, your state. You can add unlimited keywords. You might even misspell them if a word is commonly misspelled. Just put yourselves in the shoes of the person searching and think about what words they would type in to find that item. And then membership groups, that is only if you have something that's restricted to, say, luxury or commercial agents. And in the near future, we're working to have a technology community membership group so that we can post our webinars on the KWU Connect calendar that are only visible to this community, for example. Okay, so let's see what questions have come in. So I see a lot of comments and opinions about the back agent calendars and this calendar syncing. Absolutely, that's a huge request. We realize that it's no fun to go to more than one place for anything, least of not which is your calendar. So we are definitely working to have a communication between the back agent calendars, Market Center calendars, and the KWU Connect calendar. So that is something that's very high on our roadmap list of items. Okay, Darby, I will need to investigate that. We've just added the ability to create repeating events. Darby's asking, how can you edit an event without having to edit each individual event? That is a great question, Darby, that I will find the answer to. And as with every question that we're getting on this webinar, we'll report back out with all of those answers. That's a great question. That's no fun to go back and edit each one. So before we go, and a few other questions about items not on today's agenda are about the websites. If I had more information for you on which MLSs are rolling out when, I would honestly share those with you today. I do not. We expect to have those very soon. So the minute we do, you will know. And if it's before our next webinar, you will know by email, through the community. We will get that information out there. Here's what's coming up as far as webinars go. We're looking at the KWU Connect calendar now for these. You'll just, over on the left side of the screen, when you go to your KWU Connect calendar, you'll look at KWRI events, which will always show up in gray. So you can see that on next Monday is Spotlight on KW Technology. And that's going to be a getting started with your new websites for all agents. So while they're not live yet, it's a great way for agents to get prepared so that they know what to do when they first get their website. And we have two things on Wednesday, but the technology related one is a video and MREA mastermind webinar. That's with JP Lewis. He is our director of media production services, as well as Jay Papazan. They're going to talk to you and take your questions. We do not have, notice, anything going on next Friday. That's Good Friday, and the KWRI offices are closed. So we will not have a technology webinar on that day. We'll resume them on April 1st. I swear that's no joke. But again, when we know more about the websites, we'll make sure we communicate that out. You don't have to wait until April 1st to hear any updates there. And then on Monday, the 28th, getting leads with top lead generation sources. That is going to be Kevin. We'll have a guest speaker there. And then on Wednesday, the 30th, is a KW video orientation. So a quick fun thing before we go is, who knows what year Apple filed a $5.5 billion lawsuit against Microsoft because they thought Microsoft Windows was looking a little bit too much like the Mac, specifically the delete bin, the recycle bin. Does anybody want to take a guess on what year that was? Everybody's too recent. 95 is when it was settled. This lawsuit went on for a while. It was settled in 95. Yeah, it was earlier than I would have expected. All right, 1988. It was actually yesterday, March 17th, but 1988. And anyone remember the outcome? So 1985 is when Microsoft launched Windows. It didn't make much of an impact in that year, but that's really how long this development has been around. And back then, DOS was the platform being used. So everybody was a little bit skeptical of this GUI, this graphical user interface. And as time went on, Microsoft refined their interface, and it started to look more and more like the Mac, leading up to this lawsuit in 1988 when Microsoft released Windows 2. But time went on, and finally the lawsuit, or Apple did not win the suit because it was decided that if an interface element was considered the only way to accomplish some task or function, then it couldn't be copyrighted. So really what happened is that what Mac had developed were decided that they were just natural by that point. So there was no more innovation and evolution on Apple's part by that time. So I found that very interesting and can't believe that was 28 years ago. Okay. And yep, I see other people who remember these days. I used GeoWorks back then, which made your PC more like Mac. Wow, that's awesome, Susan. Okay, well, thank you all for being here. Any more questions? If you want to sneak one or two more in, go ahead and type it. I'll download the log. We will get the answers back to you as soon as we can next week. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and we will hopefully see you on Monday's webinar. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.